Hello everybody, and welcome back to Masks: A New Generation. In this case, our comic book series, Halcyon City Defenders. So it's been a while. 2 times in a row now we've been delayed by a month recording this. It's infuriating, but hopefully we're gonna be back to our regular schedule. So I'm joined today by everyone. If you don't know who I am, I'm Daniel, and everyone today consists of one more player. Hopefully joining us for the long haul. Anyway, hi everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
So
That was creepy.
For those of you who are not new to CharismaToAC and the videos we have on this channel, you might be familiar with Joan, who regularly appears as the storyteller in house for our campaign of Werewolf the Apocalypse. The campaign is called A Song at Tara, and it's been our flagship series for a while now. So hi Joan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Pleased to be here.
Yeah, pleased to have you here. So you've only played Masks once before, right? We had a one-shot of it, and it was like, you came to me, you were like, I want to try a new kind of game, and we're like, maybe have a look at this Masks thing, and apparently it suited you quite well.
Yeah, I like the concept a lot. Let's put it that way. I think it's got some it really has something to offer, and it fits the genre. So yeah, definitely.
Teenage superhero shenanigans is a personal favorite of mine as well. All right, so anyway, let's not dally around. I figure we might as well get straight into the swing of things by reintroducing our characters. Like, everyone give a brief rundown of what you got here. Like, who's your character? What is your playbook? What's your relationships, and what conditions do you have? And then once everyone has done that, we'll talk about the new character that'll be appearing among the defenders. So why don't we just, I guess, start at the top with who's the topmost of you? I guess that would be
The new one.
Finn. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello there.
Oh my
It's
god.
me.
Holy crap.
It's a me. It's a Finn.
It's me. It's
The
Mario.
member of the Vigil. The Vigil. I'm playing the Legacy playbook, which is all about expectation and responsibility that you get with your bloodline, or with your clan, or with your organization, or whatever you intend. For me, I am part of the Vigil, so it's kind of Arthurian mythos derived legacy of arcane guardians that guard this world from interdimensional terrors of definitely not the warp.
Definitely not the wolf is a good classification for what you're dealing with.
Indeed. My suite of powers encompasses magic weaponry, mythic might, and legendary speed. My condition currently are, I believe, a none. I am on clear state, but I also want to mention, because I forgot to do it at the end of the last thing, and I remembered it in the middle, that I am first person to permanently lock the label, because at the end of the last session, I used the moment of truth, which locks one of my labels.
Yeah, that's a good point. What label did you choose to lock, and what are your labels
I locked my savior, which locked it at 2.
Nice.
And the rest of my labels are freak at 1, danger at 0, superior at 0, and mundane at 1.
Nice. So you are.
I am very binary in this case.
Nice. So not fully committed to the martyr stick, but like very defender, very savior character going on here.
And as my savior now cannot really change.
Yeah, it is locked at 2. The only thing that can affect it is like a situational plus or minus 1.
And my relationships are you once got got caught doing something that shames your legacy with Starlight, and that story was that I tried to, in my mind, help Starlight with what I've seen as her condition, or controlling her powers by bringing her to one of the power lakes of our order. But before we could get there, and probably cause immense damage to the materium, we were stopped by guards or security, or
That's correct. You were prevented from doing what you wanted to do. And,
oops.
So then again, on the other hand, like all of you were in the same chamber last time, so you know.
We only partially wrecked the place.
Really, both of my relationship got kind of materialized last session.
Yeah, what's the second one?
My second one is I trust Nightshade and told him an important secret of my legacy. And secret of my legacy was I revealed to him a character, a villain, a scoundrel of Soren the Shamed, the betrayer of the Vigil Order, formerly known as
the First Watcher.
Soren the First Watcher, yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a showdown with him last time.
You did, and you defeated him, which was very impressive.
Oh, in my glory of the golden armor.
Absolutely. So now he's presently incarcerated because you lot stopped his plans for corrupting the lake shrine, which is that's pretty significant feat.
And I'm also a proud owner of a sanctuary that is my lakeside retreat, full of books and training equipment. It's a summer house, and it's a kind of like log summer house from my youth. Would be considered abandoned, but it has a custodian. But I don't know if we have revealed her yet.
No, we haven't.
From your youth, how old are you?
Well, 18. So I'm 17, 18, somewhere on that verge. But on my youth, because Vigil was technically training since he was like 2 or 3.
Fair enough.
He is joining the he's a member of the group's high school, basically as a sort of experiment, like ordered by his mother, more than something that's been condoned by his order. The fact that he is not just being homeschooled is not a popular decision in his order.
Within my order, I'm basically I think considered almost a full adult.
Yeah.
When it comes to all the knowledge and training that I should have.
So that's Finn. Let's move on to Nightshade. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your labels, your conditions, your relationships?
Yeah, Nightshade is the Janus of the team. Right now, I have no conditions marked. My freak is at 0, danger is 1, savior 3, superior -1, and mundane 2. And as relations go, White Sparrow knew me from my civilian life first. When Vigil first asked my secret identity, I refused to tell him. White Sparrow wants to kiss me before she dies.
That's true. That is that is one of.
He's so cute.
I think that's a White Sparrow's relationship.
Yeah.
And then Starlight hangs out with me to blow off steam.
Yeah. And you're looking like your playbook, the Janus, is basically like about the twofold lifestyle of the superhero, juggling. Like for you, the mundanity versus spectacle is like center stage.
Yep.
Very good.
So I have all kinds of obligations I have to fulfill.
Yeah, your what are your obligations?
I have a job as a barista. Mm-hmm. My schoolwork is another obligation, and my best friend Daniel Thornton.
That's true. You have a series of people depending on you. All right. So let's move on to Starlight. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Just as I take a bite of food, of course.
Of course.
Nom 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 nom.
Nom 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 nom. Alright. Well, we have Starlight, the Nova. And she has cosmic powers. Yay!
Your power so far has been quite
Destroy
an issue for
everything!
you. That
It's
has
basic-
certainly happened. That has happened on a couple of occasions.
Well, the fire on the roof wasn't my fault. I still say that was the storyteller's fault.
Of course it was.
And her labels are Thrake of 3,
Yeah. you're
and Danger
very
of
outside.
2,
Hmm?
and Savior 0, and Superior 0, and Mundane of -2.
You're a very scary freak.
Yeah. And her conditions. She has one less than she did last time we stopped. She has afraid. She has angry. She has guilty. But she's no longer insecure.
Okay. Do you remember what you're feeling guilty about?
I know she's fucking afraid of her powers. And she's probably... Actually forgotten. I know she's angry because she can't control her powers when she wants to. I'm probably feeling guilty because she can't.
Generally speaking, being afraid and angry can be like latently like connected to the fact that you're a teenager. Like being full of worry
Yep.
and being generally smoldering is a thing that happens. Like,
Because angst.
yes,
Because teenager.
absolutely.
But I no longer remember why she's guilty.
Okay, well in that case, maybe you just like carry around like a general feeling of guilt for everything. Maybe that's the case that
Probably.
even your character doesn't even remember like why, like what exactly made you feel this way. What are your relationships? And yeah,
Her relationships are that she hangs out with Nightshade all the time to blow off steam.
yeah.
And she had our little psychic construct.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You heard Eliana.
That's me.
That's true.
That's
Which is an excellent segue. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, White Sparrow?
I like the color white.
That is true. Like just simply based on your costume, I would call that true.
I'm playing the Nova, Iliana North.
No, you're not.
No. Yes, I'm definitely now playing the Nova. I've taken over for Starlight, who is now the Doomed. No, I'm playing the Doomed. Her name is Iliana North, or otherwise known as White Sparrow. And now I accidentally zoomed out. Whoops.
It's going good
And-
for you right now, isn't it?
Fuck's sake.
We have lost all control. You're
Oh,
on a
then goes
collision,
a PG rating out
on-
of the window.
on a collision course with the sun.
No, it's because the button I use for push to talk also makes it so if I scroll, I zoom in and out. I guess I'll go to labels then.
Yep.
Surprisingly, Nightshade has made me have a freak score of -1. I have a danger of 0, a savior of 3, a superior of 0, and a mundane of 1.
Very nice. Any conditions?
I am feeling guilty, though I do not remember why.
Because our relationship is based on a lie.
No, not that. I'm decently comfortable lying to you.
Generally speaking,
As in every relationship.
maybe so like just because the way it ended last time, maybe one of the things you've been feeling guilty about is continue to keep the truth of your condition from your group, from your super team.
That might be true because Black Raven was involved. That's probably why I'm feeling guilty.
Yeah, good thing you have Starlight.
Indeed.
Yes,
It's
she
such a-
proved definitely to be a valuable ally.
Yeah, Black Raven is your nemesis. It is the
Yes,
It is your proverbial trigon. It is an entity that, if faced on his own conditions, or in this case her own conditions, or its own conditions, will in fact slay you dead. It's gonna be.
It is in fact, Daniel. I'm gonna have to do this, or I'll never forgive myself.
That's okay.
It is your destiny.
You know what? That's okay. That's fine. You know what? you bring that to, like, that's close to my chest. You know, like that.
I know. This is shameless pandering to the GM.
Wait! I have one too. I have the high ground.
All right. Rocks fall and you die.
I punch the rocks. I live.
For anyone who hasn't seen this, just because it, like, now I remember, so now I have to say it. For you, dear viewing audience, if you haven't seen it, try to find the Red Letter Media parody of the Darth Vader no scene from Revenge of the Sith, which is possibly like the funniest thing ever done with a camera. Like, just the most entertaining thing. Just like, do yourself a favor and watch that. Anyway, Ileana.
Did I miss anything?
So I was thinking maybe you would tell us. So you have a Doom, right? And your Doom is basically. I'm gonna sing the Doom song. Doom.
Yay!
So when your Doom comes true, Black Raven will emerge in all of her or its glory, and lay you to waste, and probably a good deal of the world as well. But you know what,
that kind of thing.
That is vague for now. But what is the rules for your interaction with your Doom? Because you have some actions you can't take unless you want to bring your Doom closer.
That is true. And because Sparrow is made in the image of a superhero, she cannot harm innocents without provoking her Doom. And because she's made primarily of positive emotions and feeds off those and is kind of harmed by negative emotions, the ones Black Raven is made of, she can't actually talk about her condition because that brings back the whole feeling of being trapped in a hospital as you slowly die. And that kind of hurts her.
All right.
And brings forth her Doom.
I mean,
Oh, for a truly world-class therapist.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We need a person who's like actually a superpowered therapist.
Quick, Sigmund Freud!
Oh God. Then he will just relate everything to how she wants to fuck someone.
Particularly.
I mean,
But in her case, it would be true.
it sounds like that character would basically just be an embodiment of all of us so far. Just talking about who you want to have sex with seems to be a running theme.
She also, as a Doom, has a sanctuary. Kind of like how Vigil has one. And it's a grove in a forest near her childhood home, where she spent a lot of time. And when she was created, the fond memories she had of that place kind of made a mirror dimension of that place that is, always really nice and in the midst of summer and everything is just wonderful.
Yeah, I remember.
And it works kind of like a power battery for her.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so that's our character gallery as we know it and love it. However, as we mentioned earlier, we have a new addition to the team today. Joan, why don't you tell us a little bit about the character you'll be bringing?
Sure, I can do that, or we can do that right after you lay out the introduction if you want. That I think that might have a bigger impact then. But sure, if you prefer now, I'll do that. I can do it now.
Yeah, I would take like a baseline, basically like tell us what playbook you're playing.
Sure. Yep, sure. I'm playing the bull because big and hit stuff.
Yeah. The themes
my
of
character's name is Diamond, or her civilian name, such as it is, if she has one, if she ever uses it, is Jewel. And her labels, if you wanted those.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Sure. She's got a freak of 1. She's got a danger of 3. She's got -1 savior. She's got 1 superior, and -1 mundane.
Very good. There's a lot of stuff that we'll get to know about your character as we play. But I think
Obviously.
what I would really like to know is as a bull, central to your character is your heart.
Yes.
The bull's heart.
Endured.
You have a love and you have a rival. No, your love doesn't necessarily have to be romantic love.
No,
It can also be
no, no, no.
platonic. And your rival can be friendly.
Yes.
But
Well,
you have a love and a rival. And I was
I do.
wondering, who is it?
I have a friendly love relationship, I would say, and I've been mulling over this, and I've been going over it. And she hasn't been with the team very long, obviously. So this is obviously potential to change at any given time. But then that's how the bull's heart mechanic works: that you can change it at any time you want. And she has been putting in overtime and doing a damn hard piece of work to befriend Starlight, because my goodness, that girl seriously needs some friends.
Yeah?
So that's on her love thing, and her rival is, at least as of yet, no one within the actual team, but rather her arch enemy, whom I shall abstain from naming here, because quite frankly I think that reveal is going to be a lot more fun if you lay it out as part of the introduction.
Absolutely, I shall. So, yeah, that's basically it. Do we have any questions we would like to like you especially as the players would like to ask Joan about Diamond that you want like clarified before we start the game, about like how you've related to each other, so on and so forth?
I should probably add one little detail here.
Yeah.
Diamond is too old to actually be a high school student, which means that she has somehow, gods only know how it happened, but she has managed to land herself a job as a janitor at the same high school that these kids attend.
That's delightful.
So she's the janitor who will fix the broken things and the broken lights in the ceiling, and basically tell the jocks where they can go stick it, or she's going to stick it for them.
So basically, she's been working in overdrive ever since this started.
Why do you think she contacted you guys in the first place?
Stop wrecking the fucking school!
Exactly.
Sorry!
Only so many brooms.
Yes.
Listen, I'm gonna need to strike a deal with you guys.
Through the wall!
You need
Never
to take
will.
it somewhere else, okay?
And,
Also,
and what
you-
about the living tree now?
Also,
We'll be cleaning up
Nightshade, stop fucking blowing up the chemistry labs!
My bad.
Sorry.
Sending furniture flying.
Yeah.
Yes. That being
And you-
said, she's not actually that much older. She's 19, so she's a very, very young janitor. But yeah,
It works.
nonetheless, she's the one that all the popular girls in school sneer at, because look what happens to you, and all the rather snotty teachers will say, "Look, children, that's what happens to you if you don't get a high school diploma." Never mind the fact that she does have. Never mind the fact that she does have a high school diploma, but nobody ever asks.
Like, in maybe the epitome of rudeness, you have become the whispered warning in your high school.
Yes, and she's probably aware of it and doesn't really give a shit.
Alright. So, does anyone have anything else they want to bring up before we start the session for today? I guess we're already
Two things.
doing it, but, you know. Yeah.
Just two short things. One, I have brought the axe thing. Diamond. And two, I'm pretty sure after she got to know Diamond and realized she does have a high school diploma, and the teacher goes, "See, that's what happens when you don't have a high school diploma," she'd go, "But Jewel does have one."
So,
Like it sounds like there's been like the love that Diamond is showing Starlight is being reciprocated in some form.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but she does have one.
Yep. I think there's the
Listen, it's really-
definite possibility of a good friendship there. Absolutely.
The lesson here is obviously Miss Royson, is not that you need a diploma, you need to also apply yourself.
Who the hell is Royson?
That's you.
It is?
Yeah. Rebecca something Royson, I believe, is your name.
My
Rosemary.
name is not...
Rosemary.
Rosemary Ray Royson.
I forgot my last name. Never mind.
Yay!
I never used that name!
I feel like a good GM. I feel
Alright.
like I'm cool.
You forgot my first name, though.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you
Yeah,
know.
that does subtract from your cool GM score there.
Alright, well, I guess I have to make up for it now then.
Yes.
Yeah, you're better.
Alright, so as we pick out of the basket, we pick today's issue out, and we open it, we flip past the front page. As always, we don't know what's on the front page, we don't know the title of the issue, because we've not played it yet. We open to our first page, and our very first page for this, what is this, our fifth issue of Halcyon City Defenders?
Mhm.
Yeah. So our first issue here, we flip to a page, and the first thing we see, bearing in mind that the way we ended the last issue was with like a pretty shot of Halcyon City where everything is peaceful and nice, and bathed in sunlight. Today, when we open, the very first page is some kind of like cold, bluish, deserty landscape. We have a caption reading 6 months ago, somewhere in America, and in the front, in the foreground of the shot is a chain link fence with a plate nailed to it that says Area 52, trespassers will be shot. And
Survivors will be shot again.
yeah, survivors will be shot again. It's property of the United States. Trespassers will be shot. And we get like a couple of establishing shots of what is essentially like a Nevada military compound. And we see, like, as we move closer in a series of step-by-step pictures of the place. Every picture we near like a bunker-looking construction. And on the last picture, we see as like an establishing picture. We just like have like an outdoor view of the place with like a couple of guards walking to and fro in front of it, just military personnel, rifles slung over their shoulder. And then all of a sudden, the fucking like 2 heavy steel double doors to this bunker just cave out, and the guards turn and they're like, "What?" And then they cave out a little bit more as a loud bang from inside. And then the things are thrown off their hinges. The guards throw themselves for dear life as the things skitter out into the sand, tearing up asphalt and kicking up huge clouds of dust. And we see a shadowy figure emerge from within the bunker. And I will give like descriptive control of this scene, or of this thing we see, to you, Joan. What do we see?
Well, what you see is, of course, at first, all you see is a silhouette in the dust that has been kicked up. It's not moving terribly fast. Clearly, it seems to be walking rather than running, and it's a female form, very athletic rather than overly feminine, but still female. Clearly, distinctively so, and as she emerges from the dust, it's obvious she's wearing an urban camo uniform, and she's looking around, clearly looking for an exit.
Yeah, and as you like look around, we see like in huge screamy looking letters appear on like the page. It's like the loud blaring of a siren. So basically, like the claxons of the compound like starts screaming at the top of their lungs, and there's a tumult around you as of movement from like a bunch of people shouting orders. We hear the dull rolling sound of like heavy machinery powering up.
Yep.
And emerging from the cloud as you do, you find yourself confronted with this compound that you've only seen it outside a few times, not enough to really know your way around the outsides, but you have seen it like going in and out a couple of times, and the entire place is just like on lockdown. People are mobilizing all around. You are blinded from all directions by projector lights. People are shouting at you to get down on the ground. You can see the silhouette of tanks cast against the heavy projector beams from outlook towers.
Indeed. And, well, she doesn't obviously get down. Instead, all you see is almost like you see her hands that are her open hands, so to say, but by her side, and then over the course of 3 very narrow images, you just see how it clenches into a fist, and you see similarly 3 or 4 images of her lips getting curled to a sneer, and at the very last sneer, half of her teeth and her lips. And well, her lips first start to turn transparent, and half of her teeth look metallic. And then the only thing you hear, you can see, is a little text bubble next, almost like a thought bubble more than anything else. It's not something she's actually saying aloud. It's more something she's thinking. Is, "Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry."
And as you think that, we have like a wide panel shot of you like in this like slow plodding movement towards the 2-dimensional silhouette of like an Abrams tank with its barrel pointed at you, and a bunch of like people either sitting, kneeling, or standing, aiming rifles at you, and some guy in front is like, "Get down on the ground right now!" And we see you just keep walking. "Last warning, get down on the ground," and then it's like, "Okay, never mind, drop her!" And like everything and everyone starts opening fire, and we just see it shatter off you as it pours onto you like rain, but has no more effect than rain would have, spilling over you. Bolts of rifle armor, ammo breaking on impact. The explosions and like huge dust bowls of tank shells impacting against you, causing you to jerk back, but nothing more. As you continue to make your way closer and closer to the line of people that has been impromptuly used to create a barricade to keep you contained.
Indeed. And at some point, when she gets close to the tank, she looks like she's trying to find a way around it, and realizes that's not really much of an option. So she decides to try to go over it.
Yeah, as you do so, you start climbing over it, and you have this stuttering feeling against your chest. And you look up, and just like the muzzle flare of the turret-mounted heavy machine gun, just like being emptied into you, and it feels like, it feels like 100 grandmothers like taking turns quickly poking you in the chest, and it's like, yeah, okay, ow, 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 but hey, stop. Like it's an inconvenience more than it is an actual threat.
Yeah.
And as the top-mounted barrel comes to an empty clicking halt, the guy in the turret is like looking at you like, "Oh shit, God."
Yeah, she just takes one look back at the guy, and rips the top of the turret, the hatch at the top of the turret, rips it out of its sockets and out of its hinges, tosses it aside, looks down at him and says, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
He looks at you like wide-eyed, and he shakes his head and like starts pulling himself up. And just as like he's pulling himself out of the turret like tentatively, we see in the background of the shot there's a flare, like a muzzle blast, like from another tank, and then the same picture again, but the entire tank you're standing on like illuminates in a fireball as a nearby tank just like opens up like on friendly fire and just like blasts their own to attempt to keep you contained. As the dust clears, you find yourself standing on like a wreck of a tank instead of a tank.
Yeah, and at that point she looks towards where the shot came from, and there is a moment of realization on her face, anger and horror at what has just happened, and she looks, just for a split moment, she looks at the destroyed tank again, and just whispers, no, and then she starts running.
Yeah, it's your reaction to the death of the crew, right? It's
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
the foreground of the image like has like a silhouetted hand in rigor mortis, like just like painted in black, right? We don't see.
And that is what she's looking at in horror. She's utterly mortified at what has just happened.
And then you leg it.
Oh yeah.
So we cut to like an outside view of the compound. We can still see like shots going off down there and like plumes of fire. And then there's like there's this loud like there's a loud like explosion and a cloud of concrete from the gate to the compound. And then we see like a series of pictures of like this silhouette making its way over like across a hill and towards the foreground. And the last picture we see of this compound is one where helicopter support has just arrived and like starts shedding light on the area. And we see footprints across the sand cresting the hill in the foreground of the picture. And as we flip our page, instead of like it then reads it then reads like present time, Halcyon City, USA. And we have a series of speech bubbles. Actually, no. Before we have that, we have the shot of you like
legging it.
Yeah, legging it, and like escaping over the horizon, and then we have like a shot of the like a close-up picture of the devastation. From like an awkward angle, and we see there's a recording border around the frame, and there's a picture where it's revealed to us that the perspective we're seeing it from is being shown on a display monitor in like some kind of boardroom, an underground looking boardroom, and we see just like a bunch of silhouettes sitting around a long table, all of them like vaguely cast in like the pale light of the monitor. We recognize like the caricature of like military uniforms. We recognize the caricature of business suits, and we hear we see a speech bubble in which it says, as you can see, the subject left the compound in quite a way, in quite a ways. All things considered, this only proves what I've been saying all along. This project is going to turn the tide of modern arms. We will be unstoppable. And some voice in the crowd is like, that is all very good, Colonel. But what about the weapon? Have you made any steps in locating it? Have your men succeeded? And we see the like the form of a military officer, female military officer, turn around, silhouetted against the light of the monitor, and we just see a name tag on the chest saying E. dot, and then Fan, and then it just like peters out into darkness. She says, "Not yet, but we will find the subject soon enough. Weapon D will be located. The plan will continue. Count on it." And then we have the we flip the page, and we see like Halcyon City, present day USA. And then we have like the series of speech bubbles, and all these speech bubbles have this little like these spikes on its corners, signifying that it's like a TV broadcast. And we have a like the voice of a news reporter, speaking as she says, and lastly, our follow-up report on the rip in the sky above Midtown last month. Two of Halcyon City's most famous supergroups, the Exemplars and the Vigil, joined by an assortment of unknown capes, fought a monster that appeared above Halcyon High. The battle caused significant damage to Halcyon High and the surrounding area, and it wasn't until early last week that city officials reported that traffic could resume as normal in the area. The affairs have sparked controversy, spurring both support and outrage. Deputy Mayor Diana Nielsen voiced her concerns in a press conference earlier today, discouraging what she called further acts of vigilantism by well-meaning but misguided children. Superhero group The Exemplars have so far not made a statement, but speculations abound following Saw and Dr. Sheila Supreme's leaving the group after more than 15 years. We've not been able to reach members of the Vigil for any comment either. And as like this is like spread up over a series of text bubbles, overlapping a set of pictures, like a couple of pages, where we see you guys spending your time in the 1 month time gap between the end of last issue and this issue. So as this is happening, and this of course like like every now and again there's like a picture not relating to you guys, like when it's mentioned like that Saw and Dr. Sheila Supreme leaving the Exemplars. There's respectively a picture of Saw standing on a rooftop talking to some people, like talking to some Aegis agents. And when it says like Dr. Sheila Supreme is leaving, there's a picture of some kind of weird sci-fi looking space capsule blasting off into like another dimension. But other than that, it's mostly dedicated to like pictures of you guys spending your time and us seeing what you're doing like as time passes between sessions. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what that is? And I think we'll go in the same order as we did before and say, Vigil, what do we see happen to you? What happens over the course of this timescape, this 1 month?
Well, that would be depending of how much the Vigil itself wants to pressure me. Because if it was depending only on Finn, he would be probably spending his time with his team, with training in his log house, punching trees, and maybe being like leisure, I would say. But I assume the Vigil itself has him like running some not errands but responsibilities, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Like once you did this, you would have been like pushed to like be even better and do even greater work for the Vigil. Naturally, if your elder was to like make that call, he would be like, and then you will stand guard over our compound and you will observe the rituals and so on. But your mother, being officially the one in charge of you because she's not letting the elder step to you, is basically like hounding you to like get out there and to help people. So I think maybe what we see when we see like time pass with you is we see like a lot of minor panels of you like stopping crime, like different like landing on a speeding car, grabbing a bank robber and like hoisting him off the ground, helping a cat down a tree and so on. And then between like these pictures are like a series of like repeat pictures of you being drilled like heavy duty practice regimen by your mother, just like going full drill sergeant on you. And like maybe we see the little speech bubble from the newscast like come out of a radio that's standing on some patio furniture on these pictures when you're training.
Yeah, there's probably also a couple of comedy skits somewhere there, him trying to escape but always being caught.
Yep.
And brought back to the training.
Absolutely. That sounds like a thing.
It again.
Becon's teenager.
Yep.
No, I don't want to do my homework.
Basically, it's Pinky
But
and the Brain.
mom,
Indeed.
So basically, he's just Brain, only he's not trying to overtake the world. He's just trying to get out of what he's supposed to be doing.
All right, and so that's what we see when we see like Finn. Flip the page. We see Nightshade. What are you doing in the span of this month?
So one of the big things that Nightshade did do in this 1 month is tell his parents that he is a superhero.
Oh, big stuff.
Oh wow.
And
They'll
so
be
I
so
think
happy.
we see like one little panel where he's you see Nightshade holding like his torn up costume with his parents there with like shocked faces. I think there's also a few panels of like Nightshade and Sparrow probably training together.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's definitely what I'm planning.
I imagine like there's a picture of you like you tell me. I have an opinion on it, but I want to leave it. Like I want you to have some authority in it. Like, what's your parents' reaction? Because I imagine them being like, you maybe don't experience it. They're probably like supportive of you, but they are like opening up full on like the responsibility and like trying to talk you out of it and just generally being angry with you.
Yeah, like my dad actually like loves superheroes and follows the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I figured he would be like excited about it. But I think we established my mom is big into Susan Ramirez's like anti-supers thing. So
Oh yeah, and
it would be
you're
hard
like a
for her.
household name on that. So actually, what we see is we have the picture of you like standing, like presenting the torn up like cowl to them, and then you doing something else. Like there's a panel of you like in Sparrow having a good time, and then beneath that there's a panel of you like standing in your living room. Like your mom shouting at you, you're shouting back. Your father tries to calm the situation down in the background. There's the TV, and again the speech bubble like comes out of that TV as the report is ongoing.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we see that. Do we see something specific when you're like training with not with Starlight with White Sparrow?
I think it's like close quarters combat, doing like martial arts training.
That would, if I may add,
Yes, go for it.
I know one of the things I planned, and with this I can focus on something else, so that would be nice, is for Sparrow to ask him if he could help her develop a fighting style, making use of her ability to turn into animals at a rapid pace, kind of like she did with Claymore, rapidly turning in between hits. Also, she gets to spend time with him, so...
So you're trying to basically like improv martial arts.
Yeah, you know, actually practicing fighting, incorporating the shape changing.
Cool. So maybe we have like a couple of like basically like it's a single white panel, I think, of like where there's multiple drawings of you on the same picture as the fight is like moving across the grass of your sanctum.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like on one picture is like Nightshade throwing a punch and you blocking, and then like dodging by turning into a turtle, and then
Yep.
another picture of like of Nightshade like trying to step down and you like sprinting away as a rabbit or something like that. Like basically a series of pictures of like switching in and out of animal forms and trying to land punches.
And there has to be one of like you turned into like a anaconda or something, like constricting him.
Yeah, tripping you up,
No.
just like freaking closing around your legs and just
Yeah.
falling as flat as you are.
Why not have her turn into the world's cutest little white kitten, sitting there looking up at him with big Google eyes? And the moment he goes, oh, it turns into a white tiger and mauls him.
Yeah.
No, even better. Turns into this cute little kitten with the galaxies in her eyes. And he just goes, but I'm a dark person, and kicks her.
I think the iconic scene would probably be, you know, the fight ending with a kind of, oh, I guess I accidentally landed on top of you kind of scene.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Damn it, let's go over this corner and hurl.
White Sparrow like landing on top of him, push yourself off the 2D shot of the two of you like locking eyes, and you like pulling a lock of hair like out of your way, and the shot like the series of panels like showing you coming just ever so close to maybe doing something, and then like infuriatingly not doing it. Just
Yep.
Yep.
And then I think to finish
That's
off
not
his
fair.
little page, we see Nightshade in his new costume, because his previous one was torn to hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that definitely, like, that's the last picture we see of Nightshade is like him in a new costume, which I want you to like tell us what it looks like. But we are like, just before that, there's a series of pictures of you respectively, like at your job, at school, and with your friend, right? Like, because that definitely features.
Exactly.
It features so much that we're gonna make a roll for it, but not now.
Okay.
As I imagine the friend knew about your secret identity, didn't he? So I imagine he's gushing about what had happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he definitely has an opinion. But he's trying to be supportive and being like, how are they taking it? But he can't help but throw in a, you probably shouldn't have done that, or that was pretty like something like that. It's like, oh, I think you woke the dragon.
Yeah.
Cool. Again, flip page, Starlight. What do we see? What do we see you doing in the span of this month?
I imagine in the beginning it will be a case of her going, "Hey, Nightshade, wanna hang out?" And then realizing that he didn't hear her because he was walking off with Sparrow all the time.
So,
And her just going, alright, he doesn't want to hang out anymore.
is that a thing? Do you feel like that like maybe Sparrow and Nightshade has like a level of like there's a detachment there where he fails to hang out with her as much as she's used to?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So is that like a series of if
In the beginning, it's just a case of her, like, you see her raising her hand as if going to wave to Nightshade, and then realizing that he's walking off with Sparrow, and then just giving up. And we see this a couple of times, and then she just gives up.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Then a few days goes by, and then Diamond shows up.
New friend!
And she starts hanging out with Diamond because Nightshade is being a big poopy boo.
So we don't actually see Diamond in these shots. We see you hang out with someone, and we have like we can see like the contours of a feminine leg wearing shit kicker boots, something like that.
I
Right?
imagine I imagine we see some parts of the shit they go up to, but you only see her side of it. Like, she opens a door and someone throws in an axe spray that's, closed as it can't stop spraying into a room and closing all the doors, her removing the windows, and then the yell of 3 distinct voices we know, as in Vigil and Sparrow and Nightshade going completely crazy on the inside.
Because quite frankly, they've just been forcibly subjected to 15 minutes of the worst deodorant in Christendom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see like a series of pictures.
You see
like
them rig one of the horns you use during fights and matches in football.
Yeah.
Rig that to under one of the office chairs, and when they sit down, it'll honk loudly, stuff like that.
I also want one of the things I want to be in your panels is and you can stop me if you don't feel like this is something that would be in these time passes panels, but I feel like it should be. There's a couple of panels of you like coming home, or like you being at home. We see your dad like with his jacket like folded over the arm and his hat in one hand. And you like putting a jacket on, he's like gesturing out to the car parked outside, and then there's a cut to you in a hospital room.
Yeah.
Like talking to a lady on a respirator.
Talking to a lady on a respirator who has opened eyes but not really there.
Yeah.
Staring into the ceiling, getting eye drops every so often.
Yeah.
Sometimes it blinks her. Sometimes the husk of a person blinks on her own accord. Other times she's getting eye drops.
So we see like the speech bubble free conversation is just like you conversing with, and maybe like holding the hand of this of your mother, essentially, like, right? And your father like sitting opposite the bed from you, not interrupting, just like sitting there, looking, generally speaking, like a bit sad and worn out, because he is, right? Like, that's the thing. He's working himself a lot to maintain what you got.
To pay for the fucking hospital, yes.
Yeah. So that's the thing I wanted to kind of acknowledge in your time passes. And then White Sparrow.
Yes. Well, we've already seen some of it, which is, I suppose, Sparrow approaching Nightshade and offering this, and her sanctuary, when we see them train, getting more and more summery and more nicer looking, and the light increases, the plants grow, because she's basically filling it up with positive energy. And then I think there's a picture series of that has, you know, a border indicating that it's a flashback from even further back, with Sparrow being clearly at Nightshade's house and putting a blanket over him as he's fallen asleep. And she goes to sit in the windowsill, and she looks out over the city, looking somewhat sad. Then she looks back to him, and her expression changes to a determined one, and she looks back over the city before flying away. And the next picture is a burst of light emerging from her, and a picture of her looking up as a small white sparrow, that is not her, but an actual sparrow, flying in a circle towards the camera, as she has made Lightwing
Yeah, you
her,
got like
her pet.
Your come on lucky move from the Beacon playbook, right?
Yes, and then possibly a scene of her introducing her new pet to the group. And I think another scene that will probably be present is her parents sitting in the living room watching TV. And then she enters and sits down next to them, and they both look at her with a, huh, what's going on? Before just smiling and deciding not to question the fact that she's suddenly willing to spend time with them.
How nice. So you find time in your life for your folks, even though you're pressured from the outside, like the stress of your life and the burden of your duty.
Yeah, I imagine she's been quite distant for quite a while.
Yeah.
And also, I had a question for Nightshade. Did you want Sparrow's aid in creating a new look?
Yes.
So I think
Then-
maybe that's like a thing we see the two of you like sewing the same piece of fabric.
Yes. Did you want
Yeah.
her to have a hand in creating it? I forgot, as in making the fabric perhaps out of memories.
Yeah. That or just like the armor pieces for it.
Oh yeah, she could definitely add some armor pieces then.
Okay.
Cool.
So
you
they have, she's probably not that good at sewing, but she can keep him company as he makes it, and then afterwards she'll use the same technique, infusing a memory into a construct to make it permanent.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So you have like psychically hardened armor pieces on your uniform.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I think a perfect memory for storing in them would be the whole "oops, I fell on you."
Absolutely.
This is where we realize that once this relationship completely dies, so does his armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Becomes a part of Black Raven, and suddenly he's no longer himself anymore. Dun 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 dun.
I mean, that is definitely a drawback. I think I've noted in her profile is that her constructs are psychic, so presumably someone with psychic powers could affect them.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's like the entire gallery of what we see when time passes. We see you essentially like in your elements, doing what you do. we see the evolving, you evolving over the span of this month. We get the speech bubbles giving some exposition on like what's the lay of the land, what's happened, and then we'll take a break now. And when we come back from that break, we'll get into the swing of things. Like, okay, and then what happens now? We'll make the roll for Finn and for Nightshade to see what happens when time passes.
Yep.
Will you also be making a roll for me then?
What is the roll for you? Tell me.
On the Doom track to see if my Doom nears or if I've been able to stave it off.
Is that a when time passes move?
I don't know. I think it's at the end, but I can check it.
I think the end of the session move.
It's at the end of the session.
All right. So.
And if you haven't done anything to do it, then you will get one closer to your Doom.
Yeah. So we won't be doing that. That just happens at the end of each session.
All right.
These two other knuckleheads have moves that trigger specifically when time passes.
Ah.
Yep.
So we'll get back and have a further look at that. But until then, we'll take a brief break, and we'll be back with more masks. So don't go anywhere. Catch you then.